Sometimes you can learn a lot from a werewolf. When I talk about seeing in the dark, I want people who are feeling the shadows all around them, seeing them blacken the distance, to take a breath and notice their tendency, maybe your tendency, to want to stand still, to wait for the epiphany or the long day break to come. Because my experience from 20 years in danger and disaster zones is that if you wait for somebody else to light the landscape for you, you will find yourself in a place that is not of your choosing. And that there is a way to move through the darkness to your own advantage. Ask a bat or a cat or a werewolf. I remember a trip to Mosul that really put this in relief for me. I know I talk about Mosul a lot. You would think that they were sponsoring my content. Maybe they should. But I was going there because there was going to be an offensive to retake the city. At the time, it was being run as the headquarters of the Caliphate for Islamic State. Do you remember them? The bad guys who were raining terror across Europe and the world, killing people and determined to make their model a global model. And everyone was like, okay, that's enough, we're going. And the world's media was like, uh-oh, we got to get there, quick, 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 quick. Off we went. I still can only pack with about 2 hours notice, and I have to fight the urge to throw a flak jacket in with a bathing suit on a beach vacation. When we got there, it was about 4 a.m. in Erbil, and I was so worried, and everyone else was so worried that it was all going to start right away, that we were incensed when a journalist in front of us in line, myself and the other journos, had brought an entire suitcase of smoked pork products. Yeah, which attracted the interest of customs and the sniffer dog. And we were held up for about an hour and a half while he was questioned. And I wanted to jump in on the questioning and be like, did you really need the pork sausage? And I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm not going to get any sleep before the war starts. I'm not going to get any sleep. But even though he made poor choices, we did get sleep that day, and then that night, kind of, and the next. But we were all on ready now, right? High alert. We thought, okay, it's going to happen at any time. And as the days rolled by, we realized, okay, this might not happen at any time. And we started doing something that I call riding 2 horses with 1 ass, which is incredibly exhausting. We were trying to be ready for imminent, high-intensity work, and we were also trying to conserve resources for a longer deployment and mission, but with the same people and the same resources. That doesn't work. People start to go a little stir crazy. There are only so many times you can roll up bandages and count your, MREs, which is the dehydrated food you take with you, because it's not always going to be easy to find food in the middle of a military mission. People either get super intense about wanting to force work, or they start wanting to go to the movies at the mall and watch, How to Train Your Dragon dubbed in Arabic. It is, I can't even remember if that would have been playing, but something along those lines. It is not great for your mindset, and it's not great for team cohesion. because you don't know what game you're playing. So, and you don't have control over this, right? You cannot see exactly what's going to happen. The one thing we were pretty sure of was they were not going to go during the day. So also people were not getting any sleep. We figured that it would probably start late at night, so they would have the competitive advantage of their night vision, superior military equipment. Right? You take the advantage that you have. They were better able to see in the dark than Islamic State. But it was starting to get a little testy. I remember going to Stu, who was the high-risk advisor working with my team. My team was tasked with covering the Peshmerga, the Kurdish military forces. And Stu is great. Long time British service member. And we all have somebody who works with us. They're trained medics, great drivers, and they know the score, right? Is that incoming? Is that outgoing? Stu had two other amazing qualities. One, he can make dehydrated food taste like chef's cuisine. And I'm telling you, like, he would be like, oh, it's breakfast time. He'd go to the back. He'd pour hot water in, and something that used to taste like sludge, if I made it, it would be like we had gone to a brunch, here in Toronto. And the other quality he had that was way more important is he really knows when an offensive is going to start. And I said to him, Stu, we're riding two horses with one ass, and this is pulling the team apart. I need to figure out a way to ride one horse and move forward. And he said, Mel, what's the phase of the moon right now? I thought, oh my gosh, I never knew Stu was a hippie. And I said, it's waxing, it's getting bigger. And he said, well, it's going to start 2 or 3 days from now. They're going to wait until it's full. He said they're going to want as much light as possible to see the ground. That will give them the maximum advantage to move forward. Give them the most light while still maintaining what they can only do in the dark. And I thought, okay, I trust Stu, and now I know what to do, right? First we're going to name our team Operation Werewolf because it's a cool name, and our team dug it. I didn't care if anyone else laughed. Named our team Operation Werewolf because werewolves transform at the full moon into their full strength. And they can see further, act with incredible strength, and accomplish great things. Sure, murderous rage, but leave that to the side. And we then set our targets. I still had plan B in case, but I was like, great K team, this is how we're going to act like. This is our strategy. And should this not happen, I will then have the next. One ass, one horse. 2 or 3 days later, we were out in the sand with the full moon shining down beautifully, arguing with a very drunk Peshmerga commander who was trying to take us somewhere dangerous. But that's another story for another day. We were making different choices then to see safely. I could see that was a horrible idea. That was the night it started. So, I don't know. I always think of that. Sometimes you have to take a little lesson from a werewolf. Wait until the odds are in your favor, but you still have to make these choices and be ready to move in the way that best works for you. Have a cool nickname, right?